I'm Goku now. Hey guys, MasakoX here, and today I want to talk about one of the unexpected highlights of the Goku Black arc. Goku Black himself. Now when we first found out about Goku Black, I think we all collectively had concerns. We all thought that it was basically going to be evil Goku with an evil color, with evil thoughts and evil deeds, with an evil backstory that came straight out of a fanfiction. However, Goku Black along with Zamasu have made me feel about a villain that no other Dragon Ball villain has ever made me feel before. They got me angry. They got me engaged with the story. They got me desiring for their blood to be spewed across the floor, for their vengeance to be told, and for Vegeta to snap his freaking neck! So if you've caught up with Dragon Ball Super episode 63, you kind of now have the idea that the fusion of Black and Zamasu is about to take place, and as such, the character of Goku Black himself will cease to exist. So I felt that the time was right to actually go back through the arc and see how Goku Black came to be, because there has been a lot of confusion about the timelines and time loops and all the other timey-wimey stuff that's wibbly-wobbly and whatnot. So let's try and address that, shall we? The original Zamasu hailed from Universe 10 and had been the former North Kai, which is actually the same job that our King Kai has. He was chosen by Goasu, the Supreme Kai of Universe 10, to be his apprentice. For a while, all was well. Zamasu was a dutiful assistant, a careful and intelligent being, as well as a fighting prodigy. He could have been a great Supreme Kai, but something happened along the way. Zamasu began to see what mortal life was slowly becoming over the millennia, and what he saw unnerved him, and that feeling of unease only intensified over the years of his apprenticeship. It all came to a head when Goku, Beerus and Whis inquired about Goku Black, which they heard from future Trunks. At this time, Zamasu had no idea what a Goku Black was, but it sounded enticing. After his brief sparring match with Goku and witnessing the Saiyan's superior power and his ability to exploit godly energy, Zamasu's mistrust became full-on disdain and contempt for mortality. He then went on to study Goku's fighting skills on the godly streaming service GodTube. Yes, GodTube. Hello there guys, this is Super. He quickly found out about the Super Dragon Balls from his master Goasu, and the fountain of all knowledge for all universes, Zuno. Zamasu then hatched a plan to use Goku's benevolent power against every single mortal in every single universe and dimension of reality. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. So I imagine that this is the point where you're just about to throw the whole Beerus killing Zamasu so he couldn't become Goku Black spiel at me. Well, yes, that's true. A past Zamasu died, thanks to Whis' ability to rewind time. However, when Whis rewound time, a new timeline was formed without them thinking about it, and that Zamasu that they witnessed killing Goasu went on to become Supreme Kai, acquire the rights to use the Potara earrings, and most importantly, the Time Rings. The Time Ring crucially protected Zamasu from being erased after his past self was killed by Beerus. Our timeline where all our characters live in and what we see was protected, but sadly, not other realities. He used these tools along with the Super Dragon Balls for his grand wish, for his essence to be placed inside Goku's body, so he could then exploit the Saiyan's power. He then went on a little killing spree, seemingly killing every single family member of Goku's, which included Chi-Chi and Goten. But there was a problem. Zamasu, now Goku Black, was a Supreme Kai, and Supreme Kais aren't allowed to destroy planets. What he had to do was go and find a reality and a universe which didn't have a god of destruction. Fortunately, and somewhat conveniently, future Trunks' Universe 7 proved the perfect candidate, as there was no Supreme Kai, because said Supreme Kai was killed by future Dabura and Babidi. And since there's no Supreme Kai, there's no god of destruction, because those two beings are intertwined like Piccolo and Kami were. And since there's no god of destruction, there's no Whis. After that, he then found that reality's Zamasu. Now that Zamasu hadn't killed Goasu yet, but his disdain for humanity and mortality in general was there, albeit slightly underdeveloped from Goku Black's. When the future Zamasu sees his master's dead body felled by the hands of Goku Black, he spots himself inside Goku's body. They quickly reconcile, and they're able to then join forces in their bidding to set the Zero Mortals plan in motion. The pair then quickly find the Super Dragon Balls and wish for the future Zamasu to gain immortality. That's probably because that Zamasu wasn't as strong as Goku Black, because he wasn't in Goku's body. They then went forward a year to ask for another wish. for the Super Dragon Balls to be destroyed, as well as every other single Dragon Ball in the whole world so they can't be used against them. With no Dragon Balls to stop them, they then went on a little killing spree of all the Supreme Kais and therefore all the Gods of Destruction too. They then begin a universal killing spree before reaching Earth where future Trunks resides. Goku Black and Zamasu took their time here, and before a year was up, only Trunks, Bulma, Mai, Yajirobe, Mai's mercenaries, and a select group of refugees remained on the planet. So how did Black get so much stronger during this arc? Because at the beginning of it, he could barely keep up with Super Saiyan 2 or 3, and by the end of it, he's managed to whoop 2 Super Saiyan Blues. What's the deal with that? Well, the overall power was there. It's just it hadn't been tapped into yet. It's a lot like Captain Ginyu's predicament in the Namek saga. Ginyu inhabited Goku's body, but unfortunately he knew none of the Saiyans' techniques, and so couldn't tap into the full potential, therefore was much weaker. Over multiple fighting and training sessions, Goku Black slowly becomes stronger and stronger, being able to tap into the Saiyans' energy, slowly ingratiating himself inside the body and structure, therefore being able to tap into the godly energy that was always in there. And instead of the blue god energy that we're seeing with Super Saiyan Blue, we get a more corrupted, decadent, sinister looking colour, a pinkish rose. And since he found out about the Super Saiyan 2 terminology, he decides to play on that and come up with the name Super Saiyan Rose. Thanks to the Saiyan Zenkai boost and immersion inside Goku's body after a long period of time, Goku Black is now unstoppable. But when Goku and Vegeta return for the third time, they finally have a plan to stop Zamasu and Black. To use the Martha technique to seal away Zamasu because, as he's immortal, he can't be killed, being able to have the door open to destroy Goku Black 3-1. How is this possible? Wasn't Goku Black immortal too? Well, no. They didn't think of that. Goku got inside Zamasu's brain. Being inside that body has somewhat corrupted Zamasu's logic. The Saiyan pride and desire to fight and overall cockiness has got in the way and will be Zamasu's undoing. Not to mention that in this universe he really has no equal in power, so why bother with immortality? But unfortunately for Black, they finally met their match because after many fights, Goku and Vegeta, and now Trunks, actually put up a match. So they have to use their last resort, the Potara earrings, so they can fuse together and become the evil supreme god that is known as... blank. I'm gonna leave that up to you for now. So I explained how Black came about, but what makes him so interesting and enticing to me? Well, simple. He got under my skin. Unlike any other Dragon Ball villain, his rhetoric and overall drivel got on my nerves. I wish to see his blind judgment punished. For him to feel the full force of vengeance from Goku, Vegeta, I don't really care anymore. Not only that, but we actually saw the creation of a villain from the very beginning. From Zamasu when he was just a very uncertain and naive little student, to now the fused Zamasu Black. From beginning to end. The full enchilada. And now we want it to be torn apart! Anyway, I hope this video has helped clear some confusion you might have had with the whole timeline thing with Goku Black. It was very confusing to begin with, but when you sit down and take a look at it, it actually starts to become a little clearer. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, be sure to like and subscribe. But until then, catch you later.